Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We'll be reading from 6th canto, 2nd chapter, text number 24 to 49. The reason we are doing this is, as we are wrapping up the story of Ajamila, we really need to understand what is the real story of Ajamila. All of us know very, very clearly, Ajamila was a Brahmana boy, and once in the forest, right, he saw a prostitute, embracing a Shudra. He got deviated from his Brahminical life, right? He sought out the prostitute and kept her as a maidservant in his house, and ended up with becoming a very, very sinful person, right? And then we know that at the age of 70, he had a small child, 1-year-old child, and he had named him Narayana, right? And as this was going on, his time was near. And then he was on his deathbed. And when the Yamadutas came to take him, he was so fearful of seeing this very hideous people that he called out to his son, Narayana. And then the Vishnudutas came and rescued him. What happened after that is the important part of the story. Srinivas, what happened after that? No, what happened after the Vishnudutas came and rescued him? Let's see, let me ask a few more people. Shijesh, you know what happened? So, he was saying that he left his family and went to a pilgrimage place. He actually went to Haridwar to practice spiritual life. See, one might ask the question, Vishnudutas has already come, right? They rescued him, saying, oh, you can't touch him because you chanted the holy names of the Lord. They sent away the Yamadutas. They could have then only taken him back to Godhead. No? The question to be asked is, why did he not go to back to Godhead at that time? And what he had to do to really go back to Godhead. And this is something that's very important for all our lives to understand. What is our qualification to go to Godhead, back to Godhead? I think if we spend some time reading some of these verses and understanding it, it will be very helpful in our devotional lives. So, I'm thinking this is not the verse I want for everybody to read and chant. So we will take turns because there are many verses. I think everybody will get a verse. Sukada, you want to read the Sanskrit verse and just the translation for this verse?
Okay, text 24-25. Ajamila api atankarnya dutanam yamakrishnaya dharmam bhagavatam shuddham traivedyam cha gunashrayam bhaktiman bhagavati yasu mahatmya shravanad dharet anutapo mahan asit smarato ashubham atmanaha. Translation. After hearing the discourses between the Yamadutas and the Vishnudutas, Ajamila could understand the religious principles that act under the three modes of material nature. These principles are mentioned in the three Vedas. He could also understand the transcendental religious principles which are above the modes of material nature and which concern the relationship between the living being and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Furthermore, Ajamila heard glorification of the name, fame, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He thus became a perfectly pure devotee. He could then remember his past sinful activities, which he greatly regretted having performed.
Just show it in the next verse and translation.
Text 26. Aho me paramam kastam adbhut avijidatmanaha abhut avijidatmanaha yena viplavitam brahma vrishalayam jayatatmanaha. Translation.
Vrishalyam jayatatmana. Yeah.
Jayatatmana. Translation. Ajamila said, alas, being a servant of my senses, how degraded I am. I fell down from my position as a duly qualified Brahmana and begot children in the womb of a prostitute.
Pratik.
Tinmam vigarhitam sadbhir duskritam kulakajjalam hitva balam satim yoham surapim asatim agham. Alas, all condemnation upon me. I acted so sinfully that I degraded my family tradition. Indeed, I gave up my chaste and beautiful young wife to have sexual intercourse with a fallen prostitute accustomed to drinking wine. All condemnation upon me.
Vrindavanatau pitrau nanyabandhu tapashvinau aho maya dhuna tyakta akritgena nichvat. My father and mother were old and had no other son or friend to look after them, Because I did not take care of them, they lived with great difficulty. Alas, like an abominable lower class man, I ungratefully left them in that condition.
सोहम व्यक्तं पतिष्यामि नरके भरस्य
Brusha.
वृष धारुण्ये धर्मज्ञान कर्मणो यात्रा
Dharmagna kamino yatra.
कामिनो यत्र विनिधान्ति
Vindanti.
विनिदन्ति यम
Yatana.
यातनः. It is now clear that as a consequence of such activities, a sinful person like me must be thrown into hellish conditions meant for those who have broken religious principles and must there suffer extreme miseries.
Text 30. Kim idam swapna aho svit sakshat drishtam iha bhutam kvayata adya te mam vyakurashan pasha panayaha. Translation. Was this a dream I saw, or was it reality? I saw fearsome men with ropes in their hands coming to arrest me and drag me away. Where have they gone?
Text 31. Atah te kvakata siddhas chatvaras charu darshanaha vyamochayan niyamanam badva pashair ado bhuvaha. And where have those four liberated and very beautiful persons gone who released me from arrest and saved me from being dragged down to the hellish regions?
Text 32. Atapi me durbhagasya vibudotama darshane bhavitavyam mangalena enatma me prasidati. I am certainly most abominable and unfortunate to have met in an ocean of sinful activities. But nevertheless, because of my previous spiritual activities, I could see those four exalted personalities who came to rescue me. Now I feel exceedingly happy because of their visit. Hare Krishna.
Text 33. Anyatha mriyamanasya nashocher vrishalipate vaikuntha nama grahanam jivva vaktum iharhati. Translation. Were it not for my past devotional service, how could I, a most unclean keeper of a prostitute, have gotten an opportunity to chant the holy name of Vaikuntapati when I was just ready to die? Certainly, it could not have been possible.
क्वचाहं कितवः पापो ब्रह्मज्ञानो निरापत्रपः क्वच नारायणेति एताद् भगवन्नामा mangalam. Translation. Ajamila continued, I am a shameless cheater who has killed his Brahminical culture. Indeed, I am sin personified. Where am I in comparison to the all auspicious chanting of the holy name of Lord Narayana?
Text 35. Soham tatha yadishyami yada chittendriyanilaha yatha na bhuyatmanam ande tamsi majjaye. Translation: I am such a sinful person, but since I have now gotten this opportunity, I must completely control my mind, life, and senses, and always engage in devotional service so that I may not fall again into the deep darkness and ignorance of material life.
Text 36. Imochatam imam bandham avidya kama karmajam sarvabhuta suhre chanto maitraha karuna atmavan mochaye grastam atmanam yoshin mayatma mayaya vikrudito yayaivaham krida mruga ivadamaha. Translation: because of identifying oneself with the body, one is subjected to desires for sense gratification, and thus one engages in many different types of pious and impious action. This is what constitutes material bondage. Now I shall disentangle myself from my material bondage, which has been caused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead's illusionary energy in the form of a woman. Being a most fallen soul, I was victimized by the illusionary energy and have become like a dancing dog led around by a woman's hand. Now I shall give up all lust desires and free myself from this illusion. I shall become a merciful, well-wishing friend to all living entities and always absorb myself in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
ममाहमिति देहादौ हित्वा मिथ्यार्थधीर्मतिं धास्ये मनो भगवती शुद्धं तत्कीर्तनादिभिः. Translation: simply because I chanted the holy name of the Lord in the association of devotees, my heart is now becoming purified. Therefore, I shall not fall victim again to the false lures of material sense gratification. Now that I have become fixed in the absolute truth, henceforward I shall not identify myself with the body. I shall give up false conceptions of I and mine and fix my mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
इति जाता सुनिर्वेदा क्षणसङ्गेन साधुषु गङ्गाद्वारम् उपेयाय mukta sarvanubandhana. Because of a moment association with the devotees, the Vishnu Dutas, Ajamila detached himself from the material conception of life with determination. Thus, freed from all material attraction, he immediately started for Haridwar.
Can you please read the purport as well, only for this verse?
Okay, Prabhu. The word Mukta Sarvanu Bandhanaha indicates that after this incident, Ajamila, not caring for his wife and children, went straight to Haridwar for further advancement in his spiritual life. Our Krishna conscious movement now has centers in Vrindavana and Navadvipa, so that those who want to live a retired life, whether they be devotees or not, can go there and with determination give up the bodily concept of life. One is welcome to live in those holy places for the rest of his life in order to achieve the highest success by the very simple method of chanting the holy name of the Lord and taking prasada. Thus one may return home back to Godhead. We do not have center in Haridwar, but Vrindavana and Sridham Mayapur are better for devotees than any other places. The Chaitanya Chandrodaya temple offers one a good opportunity to associate with the devotees. Let us all take the advantage of this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Tatasnin Deva Saradhanan Asino Yogayam Astika Pratayandriya Grama Yuyo Mana Atmini. In Hardwar, Amit Ajamil took shelter at the Vishnu temple where he executed the process of bhakti yoga. He controlled his senses and fully applied his mind in the service of the Lord.
Tato gunebhya atmanam viyujyatma samadhina yuyuje bhagavadhamni brahmanyanubhavatmani. Ajamila fully engaged in devotional service. Thus, he detached his mind from the process of sense gratification and became fully absorbed in thinking of the form of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Yarhi uparatadhistasmin adrakshit purushan puraha upalabhyo palabdhan prag vavande shirashadvijaha. When his intelligence and mind were fixed upon the form of the Lord, the Brahmana Ajamila once again saw before him 4 celestial persons. He could understand that they were those who he had seen previously, and thus he offered them his obeisances by bowing down before them. Hare Krishna.
Hitva kalevaram tirte gangayam darshanadanu sadhya swarupam jagre bhagavat parshvavartinam. Translation. Upon seeing the Vishnu Dutas, Ajamila gave up his material body at Haridwar on the bank of the Ganges. He regained his original spiritual body, which was a body appropriate for an associate of the Lord.
Only few more verses we can finish.
Sakam vihaya sa vipro mahapurusha kinkarai haimam vimanam aruhya yayau yatra sriyapatihi. Accompanied by the order carriers of Lord Vishnu, Ajamila boarded an airplane made of gold. Passing through the airways, he went directly to the abode of Lord Vishnu, the husband of the goddess of fortune.
Text 45. Evam sa viplavita sarvadharma dasya padito garhya karmana nipatmano niraye hada vrtha sadhyo vimukta bhagavan namagrahnan. Translation. Ajamila was a Brahmana who, because of bad association, had given up all Brahminical culture and religious principles. Becoming most fallen, he stole, drank, and performed other abominable acts. He even kept a prostitute. Thus, he was destined to be carried away to hell by the order carriers of Yamaraja. But he was immediately rescued simply by a glimpse of the chanting of the holy name Narayana.
नातः परमं कर्म निबन्धक Krintanam mumukshatam tirtha padanukirtanat na yat punah karmasu sajjate mano rajastamo bhayam kalilam tato anyatha. Therefore, one who desires freedom from material bondage should adopt the process of chanting and glorifying the name, fame, form, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at whose feet all the holy places stand. One cannot derive the proper benefit from other methods, such as pious atonement, speculative knowledge, and meditation in mystic yoga. Because even after following such methods, one takes to fruitive activities again, unable to control his mind, which is contaminated by the base qualities of nature, namely passion and ignorance.
Yaetam paramam goyam itihasam agapaham shrunoyach shrattaya yukto yascha bhaktyanu kirteyet na vaisa narakam yati nikshitoyam kinkare yadiyapiyam mangalo martyo vishnuloke maheyate. Because this very confidential historical narration has the potency to vanquish all sinful reactions, one who hears or describes it with faith and devotion is no longer doomed to hellish life, regardless of his having a material body and regardless of how sinful he may have been. Indeed, the Yamdutas who carry out the orders of Yamraj do not approach him even to see him. After giving up his body, he returns home, back to Godhead, where he is very respectfully received and worshipped.
Text 49. Mriyamano harirnama granin putro parichat charitam ajamilopya agadhyame dhama kim utha sriddhaya granan. While suffering at the time of death, Ajamila chanted the holy name of the Lord, and although the chanting was directed towards his son, he nevertheless returned home, back to Godhead. Therefore, if one faithfully and inoffensively chants the holy name of the Lord, where is the doubt that he will return to Godhead?
Okay, I'll just read one part of this purport, in the sense the chapter as well.
At the time of...
I will read it. Yes. Go to the last paragraph. One may argue, since he was constantly chanting the name of Narayana, how was it possible for him to be associating with a prostitute and thinking of wine? By his sinful actions, he was bringing suffering upon himself again and again, and therefore one may say that his ultimate chanting of Narayana was the cause of his being freed. However, his chanting would then have been a nama aparada. Namno balad yaschi papa buddhihi. One who continues to act sinfully and tries to neutralize his sins by chanting the holy name of the Lord is a nama aparadi, an offender to the holy name. In response, it may be said that Ajamila's chanting was inoffensive because he did not chant the name of Narayana with the purpose of counteracting his sins. He did not know that he was addicted to sinful actions, nor did he know that his chanting of the name of Narayana was neutralizing them. Thus, he did not commit a nama aparada, and his repeated chanting of the holy name of Narayana while calling his son may be called pure chanting. Because of this pure chanting, Ajamila unconsciously accumulated the results of bhakti. Indeed, even his first utterance of the holy name was sufficient to nullify all the sinful reactions of his life. To cite a logical example, a fig tree does not immediately yield fruits, but in time the fruits are available. Similarly, Ajamila's devotional service grew little by little, and therefore, although he committed very sinful acts, the reactions did not affect him. In the Shastras, it is said that if one chants the holy name of the Lord even once, the reactions of past, present, or future sinful life do not affect him. To give another example, if one extracts the poison fangs of a serpent, this saves the serpent's future victims from poisonous effects, even if the serpent bites repeatedly. Similarly, if a devotee chants the holy name even once inoffensively, this protects him eternally. He need only wait for the results of the chanting to mature in due course of time. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of 6th canto, 2nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Ajamila, delivered by the Vishnu Dutas. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Isha Shunyavadi Pasyat Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we see here a very interesting second half of the story, right? Which is as instructive as the first half, if not more. Right? In the first half, we heard the power of the holy name. Right? Even once, Ajamila chanted the name of Narayana. That too, only it was his son's name. It was not even that he was calling the Supreme Lord. But then that saved him from the greatest danger of being dragged to the hellish planetary systems. But one has to perfect his life in order to go back to Godhead. Right? So let's see, what is the trigger point at which you say, okay, now you're ready to go back to Godhead? I'll just randomly ask people. Shamala Mataji. When all sinful reactions are gone. Anybody wants to counter that? Is it the correct answer? See, sinful reactions were gone. As soon as he chanted once, Prabhupada himself is telling, all his sinful reactions were gone. Then he should have gone back, no? Right? Isn't that what exactly Prabhupada is telling? What is Prabhupada is telling right here? See, indeed, even his first utterance of the holy name was sufficient to nullify all the sinful reactions of his life. So that's not the reason he was here. Okay, you said what? To develop service attitude. Let's go a little deeper there, because that, yes, but it is, you need to tease out the things, yes. To develop love for Krishna. Okay, what else? so that you don't re-engage in sinful activities. Okay, you said something? He didn't want to identify himself with the material body. And you said something? Huh? Offenseless chanting. Okay, somebody else? One develops the serving others. Yeah. Forgiving others. Oh, little twist to that. Yes, mother. Yes, complete detachment from material desires. See, detachment from material desires, and you said attachment to desires for serving the Lord. Ultimately, it is desires. When Buddha, Gautama Buddha, Lord Buddha, if you sum up his teaching, he said, desire is the cause of suffering in this world. See, a living entity, we are all eternally independent souls. Right? And when we go back to Godhead, what do we do? What do we do when we go back to Godhead? We are going to live eternally over there. Right? So we should always think of Prabhupada giving this analogy of, actually not analogy, Prabhupada reminding us that this material world is called Durga. Durga means what? Fort or prison. So this material world is a prison. So in this prison, when we have to get out of the prison, right? When is somebody released from the prison? Huh? When he reaches a nature, when the warden is confident that this person can live a normal life in the outside world. Right? Why is somebody put in the prison in the first place? Because outside they are troubling others, they are committing sin, crime, right? And hurting others and doing things like that. They said, okay, put them in the prison till they learn the lesson. Once you learn the lesson, now you can lead a normal life. So we'll always have desires. Living entity means independence, desires. We are eternal, we want to live lives that will permanently be with us. So, somebody said giving up all material desires. That is the Mayavada philosophy. That won't completely, just giving up material desire is only one part of the equation. The main thing is we have to voluntarily have desires to serve the Lord and be engaged eternally in His service. So till that pure love of God, pure desire to be in the association of devotees and the Lord, till then we will be in this material world. We'll be coming back again and again. There are a few important things to note in this particular second phase of Ajamila's life. Right? Prabhupada is telling, he's quoting from the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is saying, he went to Haridwara, and where did he say? In a Deva Sadhana. Right? Deva Sadhana, and Prabhupada translates Deva Sadhana into temple of Vishnu, he says. So, to practice his spiritual life, he went and started living in a temple, so that he can practice his spiritual life. Prabhupada, in that purport to that particular verse, Prabhupada is saying that it is very natural and easy for somebody who is in a temple, and is 24 hours engaged in the service of the Lord. you have darshan of the Lord. You participate in the upachara, different upacharas for the Lord. And then you partake prasadam. Right? Everything that you experience in this world is a prasadam of the Lord. When one develops a taste for doing that and naturally becomes, it becomes part of his life. Very naturally, easily, without any difficulty, you start living that lifestyle. Then you are ready. Right? Then you are ready to go back to Godhead. At that point, when Ajamila reached that stage, right, then the Vishnu Dutas came again. Said, oh, now you are ready. Because earlier, Ajamila was about to say something and the Vishnu Dutas disappeared. Right? And he almost, that's why Prabhupada, when they made a small book on this, right, the book is called A Second Chance. By his natural qualification, he had a first chance, but he had completely messed up his first chance. Right? The end outcome at the end of his first chance was that he had accumulated so much sinful activities that he had to go and suffer in hell for a long time. But because of the mercy of the holy name, all of the sinful reactions were eradicated and he was given a second chance. So one should understand, if a question comes up, okay, when I die, will I go back to Godhead? Right? That question all of us have. Or when somebody, some near and dear one or somebody we know passes away, oh, did they go back to Godhead? Right? There's a very clear and objective scientific answer to that question. Right? If they had no other desire but to serve the Lord voluntarily and be in the association of devotees, then you would have gone back to Godhead. If they had still a small tinge of material desires, no, I want this for myself, some attachment to some sense gratification, some attachment to this body, I, me, mine, then what happens? Second chance. Suchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Prasto Parantapa. Right? When Srila Prabhupada was preaching, he would so boldly, if you go read his initial letters on this thing, when he writes to Mahatma Gandhi also, you'll see, I have found the secret of going back to Godhead. That's what he said. When he wrote to when he wrote to Nehru, this thing, I have found the secret of going back to Godhead. And I want to share this secret with all of you. Simple process. And you can go back to Godhead in this lifetime. In fact, Srila Prabhupada said, if you chant 16 rounds and live in a temple and serve, whether you are qualified or not, you do this till the end of your life, I will take you back to Godhead. Right? So we all have a very clear path. We may not be, you should check yourself. Am I qualified at this point? No, I'm not qualified. So let me take the shortcut. Dedicate your life, at least to the end of your life. Don't wait till the end of your life. Following the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, many of you Grihasthas and all that, when you reach the stage of Vanaprastha, Vanaprastha means going to the forest. Vanaprastha. Instead of going to the forest, Prabhupada said, why you want to go to forest? I have opened up this different oasis, the spiritual oasis in different parts of the world. Anywhere you can go. You don't have to even go to Vrindavan, just like Prabhupada is telling. Vrindavan, you can go, you don't have to go to Haridwar, going there also is good, but you can do this in any part of the world. Because where the Supreme Lord is worshipped, a temple of the Lord, that is Mathura, that is Vrindavan. Right? So that is the secret. We may or may not be qualified, but because of the mercy of the spiritual master and because of the mercy of following the instruction of the spiritual master, one can go back to God. It sounds so easy, but it is not easy. Try staying in a temple and serving. Maya will give you 100 reasons why you should not stay. Why you should not this thing. Oh, this is not good, that is not, this devotee is not, that devotee is not, nobody likes me. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. This is wrong, that is wrong. This temple is not right, some other temple will be right. The grass is green on the other side. So many millions of reasons the mind will give you. And the Kala will create situations for you. That such that it will look like, oh, these people are, everybody is there to trouble me. Right? The only way one can become, one can stay, which is a secret that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was given in the Shikshashtaka. What is that? Prabhupada said we should wear this like a kantimala around our neck. Trunadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna manina manadina kirtaniya hadahari. We should think, this one lifetime only, a little tapasya you have to do. If somebody actually very objectively thinks about it, what tapasya is this? We are living like kings. Eating prasadam like kings only. If you're in the temple, your problem is not how to get prasadam. Your problem is how to honor prasadam very in small quantities. There is so much. Right? All aspect of life, you are getting the best possible situation, scenario. No tension, no worry. Somebody is doing something. Everybody is doing their part. And somehow mystically, magically, temple is running. All temples are like that. Madhapada Prabhu keeps saying that Bangalore temple, how many people are employed in the Bangalore temple? 2,000 people are employed. And he was saying electricity bill is like some 60 lakhs or 70 lakh rupees per month. Sometimes they keep saying, nobody knows what is this thing, but magically temple is running kind of thing. Right? Once we have the determination, that we want to, Krishna, if devotees get together, follow the spiritual master's instructions, then Krishna creates the necessary opulence of Vaikuntha. So we can all happily, nicely practice spiritual life. Okay? So we should all take this lesson. The second life of Ajamila is the real story of Ajamila, which is more apt for all of us. What we should do, what we should practice, study each of the individual aspects of this, and let's take inspiration from this. We'll end here. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Bol Premanande.